Hey there, planners. Today I am bringing you a video that you all have repeatedly asked for, and that is help for dealing with the question, Mom, what's for dinner? So I don't know about you, but that question drives me absolutely crazy. It used to bring me this great amount of stress when my kids would ask me that, and that was because I really didn't have a good plan in place. And of course, me being a planner type person, Planning Annie, I developed a system, a planning system all about meal planning so that I really didn't have to think about answering that question. And actually, I didn't even get that question anymore because I empowered the family to be able to see for themselves exactly what we're having for dinner tonight. So today I'm going to be sharing my meal planning process with you, step by step, the whole system, so that you understand how I'm planning, and hopefully you get some tips to help you meal plan and take some stress off your plate. So with that, go grab your planners and let's get planning. All right, so you all see every month as I set up my planner that I have a monthly meal plan. And so, for example, here's the one from July. Here is my monthly meal plan from August. I've got one set up that I've been populating for the month of September. I even went and pulled out an old Stology from last year, an old planner. Look how fat that is. Don't you love that? I absolutely love when a Stology sits on the shelf like that. That tells me how much this thing was loved. But I pulled it out so that I could take a look at my meal planning even from last year. And I do this quite frequently because I like to come back and pull ideas from a previous month. So here's October all filled out. I have November here all filled out. And then I had December, which was really crazy because we have guests in and out of the house in the holidays. And so there's December's. So I wanted to kind of talk you through, you've been watching me set up this monthly meal plan space for months now, for over a year. And I really have gotten a ton of questions on monthly setup videos about how I set it up and how I use this space. And so I really wanted to take the time to talk through, what are the benefits of having a monthly meal plan? Why have a meal plan? How do you actually incorporate meal planning into your overall planning system? And then what are some of the tools I use, like tools for collecting recipes, how do you connect meal planning with grocery shopping? So I'm going to be talking through all of that today. So let me just start with the benefits. All right, so here's the month of September. We're still at the very beginning of the month, and I have already completed the full meal plan. Now, I will say I wrote this in erasable ink. This is written with friction because things change. I know that, so I'm flexible. But at least I have a starting guide, and based on, everything we have going on this month, which September for me is a crazy month. So based on everything going on, I have a guide for what we're going to eat. I did this sitting in front of the TV last night, watching a movie with the family. I just had this out with my recipe collection and started jotting down ideas and looking at the calendar, things like that. But the benefits here are a couple things. I started meal planning when my kids were very little, and I realized almost immediately the very first benefit is saving money. I saved a ton of money when I actually sat down, took inventory of what I had, and planned meals and bought groceries for the meals I planned. I also didn't waste as much food because I had a plan. I knew what food I had in the refrigerator and the pantry, what meals were coming up, what I needed to buy. I didn't waste as much food. So those are two immediate benefits. Longer term benefit, now that I've been meal planning for years, I actually have this great historical reference. So I probably have 8 years of September's meal plans that I can go back and look at. So if I can't think of anything, and when I was sitting down and doing this last night, I absolutely pulled out previous meal plans from September to get ideas, seasonal ideas of what we were eating. So it gives you a great reference so that as the longer you do it, the easier it becomes. It does add flexibility when things change, so I actually have this map of things that I can cook and know what I have on hand, and so I can move things around, switch things around without a whole lot of thought. And then the final thing is, for me, when it comes to answering that question about what's for dinner, it doesn't stress me out anymore because I know what's for dinner, or at least I have a general idea of what could be for dinner. And I make this calendar available to my family, and so they can just go look themselves. They don't even have to ask me what the plan is for dinner. And I also incorporate them in the plan. So my husband's on here, my kids are on here where they're cooking some meals. You know, if you have kids that are old enough, they can join in. But yeah, those are all the benefits that I have gotten out of it. And I'll talk a little bit more about them as I get into the process. So how do you get started with meal planning? So the first thing you have to do is you have to have a space dedicated to meal planning. This can be a monthly meal plan or a weekly meal plan. You can go longer. I don't know that I would do it day to day because then you're not really planning. You're just coming up with ideas on the day. But at least having a weekly or a monthly space dedicated to meal planning is really important part of the overall process. For me, I add in an additional calendar. I tape in a calendar after my monthly calendar that has all my dashboard activities, you know, everything going on for the month. I tape in a calendar specifically for meal planning. You could do this either in your planner if you have a pre-printed planner like an Erin Condren or a Purple Trail planner. You could incorporate this as a taped in version, or you can capture it right on your monthly calendar or on your weekly calendars. Either way, the important part is that you have a dedicated space. Now, you can also do this digitally. If you have, Google Calendar or, whatever calendar you're using in your digital space, you can also use that. But the point is you need to have a dedicated space where you know all of your meals for the month or the week are going to be placed. The second step is you need a recipe collection. So I'm going to flip down and show you what I'm using, but there are a few different options to use for recipe collections. So in the past, I used an app called ChefTap. This is ChefTap's website. You sign up for an account. There is a free version and a paid version. The difference between the free and paid version is really that you get to have more recipes and a little bit more optionality. I actually moved away from this app because it just didn't have as many updates. It wasn't updating regularly, and I started to see it getting a little buggy on me, and that really worried me because I had paid for the membership and I had 1,000 recipes or more in the application, and I did not want to lose them. So I switched over to an app called Paprika. Paprika is really popular. It is a really wonderful app for downloading recipes, entering your own recipes. I actually transferred recipes from the previous app that I was using into this one. You can also clip recipes from websites, which is really cool. I have the app on my iPad, and so that allows me to be able to clip recipes and bring them right in as I'm reviewing things. I also pull them in from Pinterest, which is a great feature. If you use Pinterest, Pinterest is a very wonderful place to find good recipes to try. Paprika does have a small fee for the application, but it is fantastic. It is very functional. You've got, grocery list, and you actually have a meal planning calendar right in the app itself. So if you don't want to use the printed version, the hard copy version of your meal plan, you can actually use it right here in the application itself, which is fantastic. So those are two options. Another option would be to use Pinterest. So Pinterest has the ability to create a board and then create sections for different types of meals or dishes or seasons, things like that. You can collect and pin there. The reason I don't use Pinterest is I find it a little buggy when you're trying to open up the recipe and cook, right from the recipe there. To me, that's a little buggy. I'd rather just have a dedicated recipe application. But this is certainly an option. And then the final option, of course, is to go with a a hard copy recipe, like a binder or an old school recipe box. I had one of those for many, many years, and I would write out the recipes or clip them out of magazines or print them and, put them in the box. So that's always an option as well. The point is, you need a collection of recipes if you're going to be meal planning. And those are a few options. There are certainly other applications and other options out there, but those are a few of my favorites. And as I said, I'm using Paprika, which I have found to be really wonderful for recipe collecting. All right, the next step in the meal planning process is you have your recipe collection, you have your dedicated space. Now it's time to sit down and actually meal plan. And like I said, I did this one night, last night, while I was watching TV. That's a great way to do it. Kind of multitask while you're doing something else. If you're traveling or on a plane or, riding in the car, riding on the train, that's a great time to meal plan as well. And what I do is I get my recipe collection out and I really take a look at the schedule for the month. And I do meal planning on a monthly basis, sometimes on a weekly basis. I might get through like a couple of weeks and then come back later and do the next couple of weeks. But I look at all the schedules. So right now you can see I've got volleyball games everywhere. Where I have away volleyball games, I know those are going to be nights where I need to have different meals than, Sunday family dinner. And so that's another important aspect of meal planning. Once you have your schedule and your recipe collection, you want to be able to pull from recipes based on categories. So, on those busy game nights, I'm looking for quick, no-cook recipes or crock pot recipes or Instapot recipes, things like that. So you want to have your recipe collection sort of set up that way. I also have back here in my task cards, I actually keep a task card devoted to no recipe dinners. And so these are dinners that I have options for that I typically have all the ingredients on hand. I can fix them at a moment's notice. They're very quick and they don't require any recipe. So those are great quick fix meals. I keep those very handy for the meal planning process. So once you have all of your schedule laid out and you've got your recipe collections, you just want to start populating. And keep in mind, things change. Schedules change, the weather changes, a volleyball game or a basketball game goes long, there's an unscheduled practice that has to occur, things like that. So I recommend writing your meal plan in pencil or in erasable ink. I always write mine in Friction because I know that things could change and I need to be flexible and be able to pivot. I also build in some takeout nights or some nights because leftovers are certainly part of our meal plan. You can see leftovers are sprinkled about once a week in here so that we're not wasting any food and we're kind of cleaning out the fridge. So I build some flexibility into the plan itself, but then I also keep it written in something that I can easily change or white out, knowing that that is going to be the case throughout the month. All right, so the next step, the last step is here you've got your meal plan all laid out and it's time to go grocery shopping. So I'm going to share with you a couple of different ways that you could do this. One is you just take the planner in or the recipes in and you purchase the items for the week or the 2 weeks, whatever the period is, the next few days that you go grocery shopping. Actually take the ingredient list to the grocery store with you. I personally, over the years, have gone back and forth between ordering groceries online, having them delivered, and physically going to the grocery store. I discovered the joys of ordering groceries online when my kids were smaller and had absolutely no patience for sitting in the grocery cart for an hour and behaving or, not getting really fussy and bored. I discovered the joy of that years ago, and I really don't like grocery shopping. I do not enjoy that process. It's tedious to me, and I'm often overwhelmed. One of the benefits I found from online grocery shopping, which is huge, is the amount of money I save. So a couple of factors are at work there. One, when you're at the grocery store and you're looking at an aisle of cereal, right? There's almost no way to be able to sort through visually what is the healthiest, what options do your kids like, what's on sale, what's the cheapest, things like that. Whereas when you're online, think about how you shop on Amazon or any other store that that you shop at online, you can filter and sort your cart by different factors, like what's on sale, what's a buy one get one, what's gluten free. You can do all of that online, and it just makes it so much easier to shop versus walking up and down the aisle. The other major factor that's at work there, which, Lord have mercy, the marketing strategies that are going on in the grocery store. It is a psychological, overwhelming experience when you go to the grocery store from a marketing standpoint. So, if you pick up something on aisle 2 that then you find in a special display on aisle 7 at a much lower price, are you going to dig back through the cart and pull out that thing from aisle 2? Maybe, but chances are you're not, because now it's covered up with everything between aisle 2 and 7. And so you avoid all of that marketing, that wonderful grocery store strategy that's in place to get you to spend money. You avoid all of that when you shop online, because you are searching for what you want at the best possible deal and being able to filter and sort out everything else. So couple of benefits of shopping online, and why I have really enjoyed shopping online, particularly as we've gone through lockdowns and things like that in the last 18 months. I have really enjoyed grocery shopping online. The other thing I really appreciate about being able to shop online is that I can see what I have previously purchased, as well as I can also make some standardized, lists. Like there are things that we just buy every week, like milk, toilet paper, things like that. I can make those lists standard, and I don't even have to think about shopping for them. I just go put all of those items in the cart with one click. That is so handy and saves a ton of time. So, once you get through all of the grocery shopping, now you're ready to, bring home the groceries and start executing on the meal plan. So that is my meal planning process. That's how it fits into my planning system. I would love to hear from you. I have been working on meal planning for years and always looking for the most efficient, a best way to meal plan for my family. I would love to hear ideas from you. How do you meal plan? What tools do you use? What benefits have you found from meal planning that I haven't talked about here? What's your process? I would love to hear all of that down in the comments below. I really hope that this video was valuable to you. I hope that you got some ideas from it. And if you enjoyed the video, please give me a thumbs up and let me know. Subscribe to Planning Annie for more content like this. And as always, thanks for planning with me.